Okay, so now we're live. Welcome back. This is getting to be a regular thing. I hope that you come back every week to really learn how to be a pro at this, to know more than everybody else, to know how to respond to every type of situation so that you can develop a huge residual income and be iconic to your organization. Anyway, last week, we discussed the differences of our binomial unfranchised MPCP model. And we compared it to other marketing models, including MLM and network marketing, which seem to be an irritant, but also to all horizontal models of franchising, chain stores, real estate, insurance, because this is revolutionary. It does something that has really never been done before. And it's extremely powerful if you understand it and know how to use it. And in a way, it's kind of funny to me. It's kind of like comparing a horse and buggy to a Model T Ford to a Ferrari or a Rolls-Royce Phantom, or better yet, to G4 or G5, because those ground transportations don't compare to being able to fly. And that's what this program really does allow you to do, if you understand it. It amazes me how many people don't understand it. They get in and they go along, but they don't realize that they have so much more power and magic than anyone else. It's light years ahead of everything else. So last week, we talked about how it came about, because understanding how it came about is important to really understanding it and appreciating it. And we talked about 4 reoccurring problems that led to 4 cornerstones of the unfranchised system. I mean, the first problem was one product companies, one product or market companies. The problem being that someone would come up with a magic potion or lotion and overhype it, and then there'd be regulatory problems. And if it was something that really worked and sold, it would end up in Walmart and on TV, and they undermined their market. And we didn't want to follow that trend. We wanted to be market driven and provide everything that people really wanted and came after. And that's what we're about. The second was antiquated marketing plans with negative incentives, requiring people to build horizontally and be in competition. And it just requires too much volume for any one person to make money, which is really the third thing: unrealistic plans, requiring too many people and too much volume for any one person to make money, way beyond what the average person is proven to be able to do. And lastly, or fourth, is the way of the week or way of the month: no systemization, no uniformity. People develop tools and try to get other people's groups to buy them. It becomes just a free-for-all. So I started asking questions. Now you got to understand, I've been doing this for 11 years and was very frustrated. And so I started asking questions. Why does volume have to reset at 0 every month? Why? Why can't it accumulate month to month? Good question. Nobody could answer it. They got mad at me for asking it. Well, why can't profitability be built in depth rather than width? Why not? Why can't we repeat the same activity that we did with the first 2, with the second 2 below? Why not? Explain it to me. Nobody could answer. Why can't everyone get credit for volume vertically and accumulate it until they get paid? Oh, you just can't do that. It won't work. We'll run out of money. Show me why you'll run out of money. They couldn't do it. Why can't we pay and cycle weekly rather than monthly, so that people that have enough volume can get 4 checks a month rather than 1? No answer. You're not allowed to ask that. Well, why can't multiple people get credit for the same volume without dilution, without reducing the number as they go down, until they have enough volume to get paid, rather than having levels, paying 5, 4, 3, 2. Why? Here's the bottom line. Nobody could answer. The reason is it just had never been done before. And of course, this industry was given birth to before we had the necessary computerization to be able to do these type of things. But when I came along, computerization was and technology was flourishing. So why is it important to understand this stuff? It's important because it is the differentiating features that make us superior. And that is key to what you do. So I believe it's important to understand why we're not MLM and why we can save a lot of people that have jumped into things that are never going to give them the return that this can, or the security. And it's nice to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and answer questions competently. So that's my goal. And so now we're going to drill down. We're going to go into the PowerPoint. This is going to be a little boring, I think, because I'm almost reading. But it's to condense and concentrate all of the key points into as little space and time as we can. So this was the original vision and mission. When the vision and blueprint for the company was set forth in the beginning, the following principle was to put in place as a foundation of the unfranchised system MPCP business opportunity model to provide a solution for average people wanting to be entrepreneurs with a more realistic and more profitable compensation plan. The bottom line is, this is someone's greatest chance to produce residual income. It's designed to do that. So the 4 cornerstones of the unfranchised system that addressed and solved the repeating problems of direct selling, MLM, and network marketing, which I just got tired of running into, was 1, the MPCP and business opportunity. Redefined, rethought everything. The product brokerage and market retail-driven products, not to just be one product, but to find every market that people wanted to buy that was market driven, so that we had greater scope and could provide an opportunity for more people. And 3, systemization with the unfranchised system, rather than the way of the week, way of the month. Make it more like a franchise with required ways of doing things that were proven to work. And if you went to California or New Jersey, you would be getting the same training and same program. And finally, computerized internet marketing, okay, that used all the technology to determine what people want, to be able to deliver products to customers directly, to have a universal shopping cart, and to be able to do one-to-one marketing where we fundamentally find out what people want and deliver it to them. So these 4 cornerstones define and design the solution to previous existing repeating problems or deficiencies of other models in the direct network, affiliate, and MLM marketing of the past. Now look, I'm not here to brag. The bottom line is we're just better because we've thought through all these things. It works better. Great. And we can prove it to anybody. Okay, we can put this on top of anything. That type of pride and understanding and cognitive, focus is what makes you successful in this business. So if you don't know it, you're just running around, with blindfolds on. But the binomial MPCP is a paradigm shifting new model that changed everything. I still don't think that it's recognized or it's become what it can become. And it's totally different than MLM. And actually, it's innovatively disruptive. They don't like us, and they don't want you to hear about it. Because when somebody comes to me and they say, well, I'm in this or that, I said, do me a favor. I would love to compare programs, but I don't have time. But can you make 6 figures off of 2 organizations? Show me how to do that. They can't. They never can. So right away, you win. If they want to win, they have to look. So the binomial MPCP is a paradigm shifting new model. It's revolutionary. You need to understand this. I don't want to say you need to believe it. If you understand it, you automatically believe it. In many ways, it's not only revolutionary, but the opposite of MLM or network marketing because it addresses and reverses the deficiencies, the contradictions, the weaknesses of antiquated mainstream MLM or network marketing models. And I guess that's why we get our dander up when people confuse it. Excuse me. It's just, you call me something that I'm not, you know, but it works in a different set of principles and dynamics. I'll say that again. It works on a different set of principles and dynamics. It's been totally rethought and redesigned. It is a new and different mathematical model altogether and a tracking system, not forcing down, paying and filling out levels. So the major repeating problems and shortcomings of MLM and network marketing have been identified, addressed, and solved in the unfranchised binomial MPCP model. That's the bottom line. It's totally different than MLM and innovatively disruptive. So if people are already in that and believe in it, and they are in a hierarchy of people that depend on them to stay in it, it becomes like a religion. And it's very difficult to talk to them because they're zealots over something that they don't even understand and cannot even prove. Sorry, that's just the way it is. So the binomial MPCP is a paradigm shifting new model. You understand what paradigm shifting is? That's like when Google came out, it took them 10 years to succeed. There was no reason anymore to go to a library. You know, all the information in the world at your fingertips. It's that type of change. It changes life. So this has the power to do that. Okay, so MLM works from the top down, filling in levels horizontally and adding width to be profitability, because you can't do it without going wide. Then you got to get each one of those people to do the same thing, or they won't make enough money, and you have to help them do it, or they'll disappear. So there's an incentive to inventory load in order to reach higher percentage levels and to encourage others to do the same. Because if I buy more, I'm at a higher percentage than I would have been, and my volume is going to poof, disappear at the end of the month. So people end up loading up, filling closets, garages full of products. And this is a lot of what the regulatory scrutiny is about. So generally and often MLM is based on buying product at each level at the top, hopefully selling some to customers, hopefully. That was supposedly the purpose, okay? And then redistributing or selling some of it to downline distributors on successive levels, which is why they call it multi-level distribution. We distribute on multiple levels, redistributing product that we bought to the next layer and the next layer. So buying more at the top on successive levels is leveraged and encouraged because the distributor gets a higher percentage before losing the volume at the end of the month and it resetting to zero. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Because that's important. Okay, so MLM generally works from the top down, filling in levels and tiers with orders, usually wholesale that was bought. And there's a graduated volume scale. Imagine a stair step. Okay, they get paid or recognized on. So the more you do, higher the percentage as you move up to become a manager. The volume is in a fixed structure and it combines up the line, up the stairs, because you have people underneath you on the stairs to reach higher brackets and percentages. But the distributor either buys this from the upline or the company, and there's a buyback guarantee, which guarantees that if they bought product that they can't move, that they'll, be able to get a refund or whatever. However, that generally doesn't happen because everybody's trying to make more money. Therefore, this happens from the top down by ordering or redistributing product. So the marketing structure is filled in with orders from the top, okay, systematically in the structure, layer after layer, levels or tiers with preset volume amounts and percent payouts until one fills out all the levels to the maximum pay amount. Then the structure has a vertical levels and parameters, so many levels, but you have to have width at the same time, the width or horizontal feature that controls profitability. No use doing it if you're not going to be profitable. So you got to have 6 of them, 10 of them. Some people struggle with 2. What would you ever do if you had to have 6 to 20? Exactly. See, the number of these vertical structure levels or tiers once sponsors and fills out, the more they make. So the more across they have, the more they make, but you have to have the depth too of the levels. So some have a required number that must be filled out, usually 3 to 12 in order to advance in the program. And others are open-ended, and the more one adds on, the more they make. It generally requires, now listen to this, 6 to 20 to equal what is made in one BDC in Market America with only 2. Because we figured out how to pay the most money on the lowest multiplier of 2. Okay, so again, this is done from the top down, ordering product and redistributing it tier to tier, which is what makes it multi-level. And at the end of the month, it resets to 0. So there's pressure to buy more to reach the higher levels. What we do is from the bottom up, accumulate volume with nobody being able to go outside wide, and they have to put their volume down there too until people reach the level where they get paid. The total opposite and much wiser. So there's 2 fundamental categories of MLM plans which have countless variations. One is stair-step breakaway, and the second is matrix or Unilevel. They all fall basically into those categories. Now, stair-step breakaway, and the reason I'm doing this, I'm taking a deep dive now so that you can communicate or understand or be able to handle these type of things. And the binomial and unfranchised manifesto is your PhD or your doctor's degree in this, if you want to be able to do it. And we're going to have a course on that. But a stair-step breakaway has a graduated scale of volume, like a set of stairs or stair steps. From orders from the upline manager or the company. Usually they start out by buying from the upline or sponsor's inventory. And the top of the stairs is usually around 3,000 to 10,000 in volume, averaging around 5,000. So in all these programs, you climb the stairs to get to the top, to break away, and be a manager yourself. So the stairs has a fixed volume schedule of percent payouts that the manager pays the distributor out of their gross commission from the company on the combined group volume. So they're getting a higher percentage, usually 20 to 30%, and then they pay everybody else 5, 10, 15%, and they usually end up with 10 to 15%. That's the way it works. Right. Okay, so rather than accumulating volume so that everybody is earning. So when one of their distributors reaches the top of the scale or the stairs, they break away. That's why they call it a stair-step breakaway, and they become managers that order directly with the company. And the sponsor or upline who had that person who became a manager gets a smaller override on the new manager of around 3 to 5%. So they make an average of $150 to $500 per manager leg. So how many of those legs do you have to have in order to equal what one makes on one BDC with 2 legs? Well, it would require 6 to 20 horizontal width to make around 2,000 to 3,000 a month compared to 2 per PDC in the MPCP, which would yield 1,500 to 3,600 per week or 6,000 to 8,400 per month, with a maximum of 14,400 if you included IBV per month for just 2 legs. It doesn't hold a candle to us. So which program would you want? The less profitable, harder one where you're a hamster on a treadmill, or the more profitable one that ends up causing people to be financially secure so that you have a residual income. The choice is yours. So if you don't know this, you don't know how to stand on your own 2 feet and square off with someone. Okay, so the point here is that the structure requires filling levels with orders from the top down to reach brackets, and then repeating or horizontally in width several times. Do that over and over and over and over again like the pumps to be profitable. So yes, we're geniuses. We're so far ahead of everything else that it's almost funny. Okay, the volume resets to 0 with these programs. Here's the clincher. Think about this now. What I just explained to you. The killer is that the volume that they have done, climbing that scale, resets to 0 at the end of the month, and they have to start over. So if you didn't hit the bracket, you lose the volume, the upline makes the money on it, and you're left starting over. How fair is that? How encouraging is that? So the structure, so when people say this is like MLM, I say, yeah, MLM my ass. Now, why do I say that? Because it's offensive. It's totally different. And when you begin to understand this, you begin to understand my mindset and my veracity, my passion. Don't call us something that we're not, that we're actually the opposite of and the solution to. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Okay, so the structure pays the upline manager on a fixed number of levels, downline breakaway managers. Now get this one. This is almost as powerful as the one I read above it. It's usually 3 to 5 levels. Now you've been around a little bit. How often does the real star, the real producer, the director come in 10, 20, 30 downline? Eventually you're going to lead to that person. So often the producer or the action comes below the pay line of 3 to 5 levels. And the leader above gets 0, nothing. How fair is that? How much better is our program than things like that? So the second type is a matrix or Unilevel program. Basically, this was created to address the stair step thing that I just talked about and negative incentive. So it has a fixed matrix structure, which means it's like it's a built structure that you have to conform to. And there's horizontal positions that has a minimum amount of volume or fixed amount of volume needed to be done monthly. So instead of building up to 3,000, each person would do 200, 300, 500. The volume is generally ordered by each distributor from the company monthly in order to qualify or to get credit or commissions for the month. The volume order amount averages around 200 to 500. So what this ends up equating to in reality is people buying spots. Oh, you got to do 200. So there's a required or fixed number of spots or positions or distributors across each level. And this is multiplied by the number of levels vertically. And that's how they figure out or project the money that you could but won't make.
Exactly.
So a 3x6 level matrix has 3 levels across at the top, and each tier has 6 levels deep. So when you multiply that out, or if you draw that out, 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, 729. And when you multiply 729 times the percentage they're paying out, it comes out to infinity money, huge money. But as soon as one person at 9 or 27 does not get their 3, it creates a huge hole, a huge gap that somebody, in order for those numbers to become a reality, has to fill in. And that's you. Okay, so when one distributor does not sponsor 3 to 9 on any successive level, it creates a gap, empty space, or a hole. And it's often referred to as Swiss cheese, the Swiss cheese effect, lots of holes in it, and produces 0 income. So that's the fallacy in it. It has to be filled in by somebody above to make the money that's being shown in the plan. This becomes exponentially larger. I'm going to say that again. Exponentially bigger, larger with time, and next to impossible for someone to do. So this again fills in a fixed structure from the top down rather than accumulating volume from customers into UFOs from the bottom up and a tracking system, okay, to fill out levels, because it's all about filling out levels. The business units are smaller and not accumulated into group volume under a manager like a stair-step program, but it's just as bad. Okay, so like the stair-step breakaway, here's the clincher. All the volume resets to zero. Sorry, Charlie, it's the end of the month and you didn't get enough people filled in. So you do not get credit or paid on the action or production that comes in below that last pay line, which is frequent, just like in stair-step program. So you can see the fallacies of these programs and why I'm so passionate about this. Has been totally reinvented, and it's nothing like that. So contrast the MLM structure and system to the Market America MPCP and tracking system. There's no fixed structure or levels other than limiting it to 2 channels per BDC. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. That you can build 2 and everybody is getting credit for the volume and everybody's adding to the 2 to make it happen faster. And you're getting paid more money than you would on 6 to 20. How brilliant is that? I mean, come on, guys. Understand what you have. One cannot have more than 2 channels horizontally or in width until they maximize the payout of a BDC. And why? Because it mathematically works for everybody. So 2 is the lowest. Now think about this. Use your, don't just listen, think. 2 is the lowest possible multiplier. You can't have 1.8 or 2.4. 2 is because you need whole people, right? 2 is the lowest multiplier. We calculated the maximum amount of money that could be paid on the smallest multiplier, which translates into the most profitable pay plan based on volume and legs. More pay per leg and per volume. Isn't that the bottom line? You cannot have a compensation plan without a multiplier, or the plan runs out of money. If you did it on 1 leg, by the time you got down to 10 people, if you had $10, we're going to give each person $1, you'd be out of money. You understand that? So 2.8, just serendipitously, coincidentally, or maybe it's divine providence. 2.8 people is an industry statistic of the number of people that average participants in a program, in a marketing program, in an opportunity that are that recruited can keep in the program for over 2 years. So the average person can bring in 2.8 under 3 and keep them in for 2 years. I didn't make that up. That's not the way I would like it to be a better number, but it's reality. So requiring more people creates competition, no common interest, and spreads things thin and increases overhead. But when we make it at 2 to earn 6 figures, $109,000 to $187,000, the probability of individual success mathematically goes way up. Period. Who wants to argue with me? You know, so you're in an ML program, show me how to make 6 figures on 2 people, 2 legs. Can't do it? Goodbye. Or would you like to come with me? Do you get the point? It's much better and efficient to build or multiply profitability in depth or vertically. Why? Because if you maintain the same profitability and are able to do it vertically, you're securing your profitability at the same time you're building it. That's revolutionary. And it's never been done before. It's actually a miracle. I could apply this to actually could work it out in real estate, insurance, franchises, but I don't have a patent on it, so I'm not going to show them how it works. But we have done it, absolutely have done it, and have proven that it works for how many years are we? 28?
28.
So it can't be questioned. The objective is to get others earning by everyone building vertically, helping everybody, having a common interest, because they're all getting 100% credit without dilution for a year, and adding on UFOs and volume below rather than across, so others earn more quickly. And there's actually a compounding effect of people and volume because everyone has to build or add vertically. You can't add across. So by adding everybody, adding below, it has, you understand compounding? A compounding effect. Okay, so binomial MPCP is a paradigm shifting new model. The first objective is to get others earning at each of their two legs because it creates security and stability rather than adding and adding and adding so I can be profitable, but they are not profitable. Do you get that?
Yeah.
One can double and triple their income after they complete their 001 and have people earning. So I've worked real hard to get somebody on the left and somebody on the right earning, hopefully 6 figures. I shoot for 2 people earning 6 figures. Now the 001 is totally solid. Now I don't have to build 2 legs. I can build 1 leg on the inside of each and earn another double and triple my income, another $109,000, $187,000 a year. Where else can you do that? See, there's no need to build in width or horizontally to be profitable because more money is made on 2, which secures the BDC by getting people below to earn, which is the objective, as well on the same volume at the same time. Get that? It's the same volume, at least half of it, at the same time. It's pretty miraculous because normally when you're profitable, now you have a whole other problem. You have to go build security, depth, and they're antagonistic. They work against each other. So a major difference in the MLM structure is that you have to build in width or horizontal to be profitable. And building width or adding groups horizontally puts everyone in competition. If I have Anna and Andrew, they don't want to work together and they don't like me working with the other because it doesn't do anything for them. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure this out. So when people argue with me that are in MLM, I say, look, the problem here is one of us is dumb and it's not me. I'm sorry about the arrogance, but it's the truth. And it's my mission. So building width or adding groups horizontally puts everyone in competition with each person's production, and it does not benefit the others. Therefore, separately, you have to build separately. You have to build in depth or vertically under each one of those horizontal groups so that they earn money as well, or they won't last. They disappear. It's like the pump demonstration that I do. And at some point you wear out trying to prime 6 to 10 to 20 pumps. See, both depth and width competes. I'm going to say this again. Understand it. Cognitively absorb this one. Both depth and width compete for your time and effort. And they're antagonistic. They work against each other. They don't work together. So you're spread thin. In addition, everything resets to 0. I mean, as if that wasn't bad enough alone. If you don't make it by the end of the month trying to work width and depth, you lose all the volume. It resets to 0. So the rat race begins all over again the next month. So contrast this to the MPC building 2 legs vertically for more profit and greater security at the same time. These are only words up here. Diagrams may make it jump better. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to explain this and understand it. So in MPCP, everyone is working together and getting credit for each other's volume. Does it take a genius to figure out how much better that is? This is building profitability for them and you at the same time. And by both of you and them earning, you achieve profitability and security or stability. So my whole objective is to get them to earn. I rise by getting them to earn.
Yes.
So the miracle is that each UFO actually multiplies profitability in depth rather than being in competition horizontally. This was the genius rethinking, epiphany, okay, new model, totally reinventing everything. This builds stability and security at the same time and multiplies profitability through the 002 and 003, and then re-entries. I can hardly get the re-entries. The genius of this, like one McDonald's, they open up another one right on the territorial limit to the company's benefit. You as the first McDonald's owner don't benefit from that, or Starbucks. Okay, but what if we could put the second one under the first one and it actually secured and paid the first one?
Exactly.
Genius? Well, I think so.
Yes.
By building the 001 solid with UFOs earning in the left and the right leg, the volume in the tracking system is passed through and credited into the left and right banks of the 001. So you're building an 001 down two sides. Little did you know that we snuck in there, because we knew you wouldn't understand it, two other centers. And the tracking system, tracking all the customers and all the UFOs, accumulating the volume up, passed through the banks of the 002 and 003, so that they have $5,000 producing weekly already in there. Therefore, you only have to add or open one, not two, legs in the 002, because one's already done, in order to double your income. How powerful is that? Who else would have thought of that except somebody who has been out building it, that lived it? And that's what I always say makes this company different. We are not corporate executives that started some company. We are you. I created this plan for me. And that's why it has features like this. So note that this also strengthens and secures the 001. Your 001 now has two centers under it when you build that second leg to double and triple your income. They're securing the 001. How genius is that compared to the horizontal model? This reentry BDCs can be strategically placed vertically to multiply income even further, 4 and 5 times, which again secures you and everyone else above's income at the same time and volume at the same time. Because we expand or multiply our income selfishly in depth at the benefit of everybody else in between. Okay. Excuse me for getting carried away.
Have a sip of water.
Huh? I don't want one. Here are the major items that come into play, and I'm not going to make it to the end, am I? Important tracking system and how it differentiates. 2 important things that we invented. First, the infinite search. Nobody else has this. They fill out levels. We search to infinity as long as we can, okay? And the lineage of the UFO in all product lines and stores for BB and IBB daily. It's a minor technological miracle to be able to do this and post it daily. Normally, it would take weeks for a company to run the commission. Then we accumulate the BB and IBB week to week and month to month and pay commissions weekly based on that accumulation from the bottom up. And we're tracking and search from the bottom up, not the top down, basically, which is what MLM does. There's no levels being filled out. This spans countries even. It could be 100 deep. It could go from country to country. The objective is to of the infinite weekly search in MPCP binomial structure, where all volume coming up 2 channels or legs is to find enough volume to hit pay thresholds and maximize the payout over time for every person in the system. Now, if they don't do the second leg, if they don't stay in, that's their choice. But the system and the math and the dynamics are working to maximize the probability of each person getting paid. It's not a question of when you'll get, if you'll get paid, but when you'll get paid if you stay with the program and do what's necessary. This is done by tracking volume from the bottom up and accumulating it until getting paid. Big difference. So here are major items that come into play and show the importance of the tracking system and how it differentiates us from binomial MVC from MLM. The binomial structure is organic to infinity, no levels, accumulation and accrual week to week and month to month. There's no levels of thought. It's kind of like if you had a reservoir at the top of a mountain and you opened up two locks and the water started flowing down. It takes the path of least resistance. It doesn't have to fill the whole mountain, but it eventually will hit the lake or the river or the ocean and you get paid. It's inevitable. And that's the way the system works. What it takes to search daily and accumulate, adjust every BDC. Think about it. Every BDC. Andrew got paid, Anna didn't. It stays in the system for Anna. I didn't get paid. It stays in the system for me until I do get paid. If I get paid and she hasn't reached it, it stays in the system for her. Every single person is on a different clock. Do you realize how complicated that is in programming with thousands and thousands of centers? It's an UnFranchise Business requirements and MPCP tracking system where we have qualifying, you have to qualify, retail requirements, Form 1000, monthly accrual option, preferred customer program, where every customer can be serviced and orders filled directly by the company, directly to them, and you get credit for it, the retail profit and the volume. Minimum activity requirements ensures that everyone earning or getting credit is contributing and that the program is driven by retail sales to the end user, but it's solid once it's developed from the bottom up. So it isn't a 1 month or one-time thing. This structure leverages the power of the binomial system to generate a steady, reliable, and secure volume for residual income. In fact, the other side of the coin is it may be our biggest problem. The program works so well that people stop helping other people because they have such a solid residual income. Okay, so there's a lot behind this. You're not going to understand what I went over today if you don't understand the previous sessions. So if this lost you, you may have to understand that you just took calculus and you don't know how to do trigonometry or algebra, or you took algebra and you can't multiply or divide. So please, if it fascinated you, if it resonated in any way, and you didn't fully understand it, please go back to the other sessions. This is all content on demand now. We're doing them every week and addressing the real critical issues that could make someone go much higher and be much more successful. So go to this session and you can train your group, you can review it yourself. We love you and we're having a great time. And I did that all in one breath.